Hey guys, this is me, KO, representing Arsenal transfers and analysis, and today I'll be discussing a very important topic. Whether Arsenal need to sign a new striker to challenge for the Premier League. This has been a topic of a lot of debate among Arsenal fans, and me also I've been involved with a lot of debates regarding this issue. And for one, let's just look at the facts first, and let's look at the developments of the last 2 weeks. So recently, we've seen in the newspapers Lacazette saying, firstly, I am staying at Lyon, I want to fight for my place in the French squad, blah 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 blah. So that looks like a dead end there. Secondly, we also have Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund, with the Borussia Dortmund chief executive saying he is staying, he is not for sale. So that's another top striker who's out of our radar. And it's looking increasingly like Arsene Wenger isn't going to sign a new striker this summer. Because we've seen Jackson Martinez, Carlos Bacca, Mandzukic all making moves this summer, and they've all made the moves already early on to AC Milan, Atletico Madrid respectively. We've seen also Dybala, I'm not sure I pronounced that right, Dybala going to Juventus. We've seen that Aubameyang not going, Lacazette isn't going. So now there's only really a few options left really for Arsenal if they are going to sign a new striker. And the two that I think are the most realistic right now, I might be wrong, but the two I think might be the most realistic are Benzema and Dzeko of Man City. So let's start off with Dzeko. So with Dzeko, it's quite interesting really, if you think about it, because Dzeko was a player who was banging in the goals for Wolfsburg, left, right and centre. He was banging them in. He moved to Man City in 2011, and he hasn't really obviously been competing with Aguero, who I think, in my opinion, is probably one of the best three strikers in the world. He's been competing with him, and he hasn't really been able to get the game time he has wanted at Man City. He's been playing, he's had some good form. I mean, once he scored a few years back, those 4 goals against Spurs, which obviously makes me, as an Arsenal fan, extremely happy. But I don't think he's really stepped up to the next level, which is what we need of him. But I do think that if he is given more game time, he might be able to, score more goals on a regular basis, and maybe that could be at Arsenal. But again, he's at similar age as Giroud, so again, there isn't really scope for improvement that much. And he is a similar type of striker to Giroud, but he has got more pace, so that will obviously help Arsenal more. But then the other player, which is the player that most Arsenal fans really want, he is the A-star name, he is the guy who plays for Real Madrid, Benzema. And we've seen in recent years that Real Madrid and Barcelona haven't really been scared to offload their star players. We've seen Real Madrid Ozil, we've seen Di Maria last summer, with Barcelona we've seen Sanchez and Fabregas, and you can't really call them flops because they've come to the Premier League and they've lit it up. You've seen Sanchez scoring 25 goals for Arsenal last season. Fabregas, Snake, he's got the most assists in the Premier League last season. Ozil, Di Maria, these are world-class players. Ozil winning the World Cup. Di Maria, he's seen playing for Argentina time and time again. He was Champions League 2014 final man of the match. So these are world-class players. So I think, obviously, they're not scared to offload a star name. It isn't like other teams which are like, it's a star name. Because Di Maria and Ozil, in their last season for Real Madrid, they were probably the best 1 or 2 players in the team after Ronaldo. So obviously you can see these are top players. So I wouldn't be surprised if Benzema became available. However, I find it quite funny really that Rafa Benitez, apparently according to newspapers, is saying that Benzema isn't the type of striker that fits in my mould or whatever. Because if you think about it, he is the one who had Gonzalo Higuain at Napoli playing in, week out. And I don't think Gonzalo Higuain is a better striker than Benzema. And we've seen, Manuel Pellegrini, who signed Benzema, he played with him, he stuck with him. We've seen Mourinho, he stuck with him. We've seen Ancelotti, he stuck with Benzema. So these are 3 top-notch, world-class managers who've all stuck with Benzema. And then Benitez comes over like, alright, yep, Benzema, you're out of the squad here. I'll put in, someone like Llorente. Yeah, Llorente's a top-notch striker, isn't he? I don't think that's actually the case. Llorente, I think, is an upgrade of Benzema. However, there is some people saying in Spain, and there have been newspaper reports floating about that, the real man that Real Madrid want is Marco Reus from Borussia Dortmund. And that is one who's quite interesting also, because Borussia Dortmund, as you all know, aren't in the Champions League this season. So it could be seen that there are some of the star players will be thinking, alright, we need to play Champions League football, we need to leave, and Barcelona get a very high offer from him and get the money that they want, which obviously Real Madrid we know can afford, then they'll be happy to offload him, I think, personally. With Marco Reus, apparently he will fit into the left wing at Real Madrid, and Ronaldo will then move into centre forward, where he can get more goals, get involved more in, just finishing and shooting, because obviously he's becoming 31 next year, so he isn't getting any younger. So I don't think he'll be able to operate that left wing role as effectively, especially like the tracking back and everything like that's involved in that role, because it isn't only the attacking, there's the defending. And we've seen recently in recent seasons that Ronaldo has been a bit lax with his defensive responsibilities. So obviously, if they do sign Marco Reus, he'll obviously fit in straight into the starting lineup, and apparently then Benzema will become available, Arsenal will make a bid, blah blah blah. And according to some Spanish reports, there have been in the newspaper, some Spanish reports in newspaper Marca and some other newspapers, El Confidencial, they've all said that Benzema is open to potential move to Arsenal. Arsenal have contacted him, they're just waiting for Benitez to confirm whether he's in his plans for next season, blah 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 blah. So really it's a waiting game. But it's quite weird to see Arsene Wenger put all his eggs in one basket, because if the Benzema deal doesn't really, go through, then apart from Dzeko, we're really left with Olivier Giroud. And let's talk about Olivier Giroud statistically. His goal scoring has improved over the last 3 seasons that he's been here. I mean, last season was definitely his best season in terms of goals to game ratio. And he was injured for 3 months, but he still managed to score 18 goals, which is quite a good return, considering he was injured for 3 months. And he probably would have scored about 25-ish goals, which is similar to Alexis Sanchez. But that's not it. We've seen in the big games that last season, where we relied on Olivier Giroud, that he hasn't stepped up. I mean, you could say he scored against Manchester United. I mean, he scored against Manchester United, but that was a 93rd minute, consolation goal. Man City game again, he scored the goal, which was the second goal of the game. It wasn't the first goal, it wasn't the goal to kick us off. He scored against Liverpool, but Liverpool, to be honest, no offence to any Liverpool fans, but they aren't really the biggest teams, do you know what I mean? In the biggest games, I felt last season, the biggest game that we had was the Monaco game at home, where the expectation was really honest. It wasn't like the Man City away, where we were kind of expected to lose or draw. We weren't expected to win. In that game, all eyes were on us to win the game. We had to win that game. Everyone thought this is the season where Arsenal get beyond the last 16 and get into the quarterfinals. But Olivier Giroud missed chance after chance after chance after chance. And that is Olivier Giroud. He will score tap-ins, here and there, score a couple of goals against Newcastle, everyone getting gassed. But when it really matters, he doesn't score the goals. And I don't really blame Giroud completely, because he hasn't really got competition. Danny Welbeck came in last summer, but I don't really think that was Arsene Wenger's original plan. I'm certain that Arsenal would not have signed Danny Welbeck if Olivier Giroud didn't get injured against Everton. I don't say it was a panic buy, but it was one which Arsene Wenger's hand was forced. He needed someone to play and strike, but those two was not fitting the bill, so he needed someone to play and strike while Olivier Giroud came back. Welbeck had the opportunity to stake a claim for his starting place in centre forward. He didn't really perform, and Olivier Giroud came back and took his place. And that's what I think we're lacking. With Danny Welbeck last season, even though he didn't play that well, you saw Olivier Giroud stepping up to the next level. So even if you do sign someone like a Dzeko, which might not be the first choice, because he's such a quality player, he will be able to maybe step up Giroud's game. If Dzeko plays well, he'll play. Giroud will think I have to become better. He will improve. And vice versa. If Giroud is having a poor game, Dzeko will be thinking, hang on a second, I've got an opportunity here to start the next game. I'll play well if I come on as a sub. Or I'll play well in the next game if I'm starting. And that competition is needed. And that is why we've been improving so much over the last couple of seasons, because we've been having competition across the whole pitch. In goals now, we've got Petr Cech, we've got Szczesny, we've got Ospina. In defence, we've got Koscielny, Mertesacker, Bellerin, we've got Gibbs, we've got Monreal. In midfield, we've got world-class players, Ozil, Ramsey, Wilshere, Cazorla. So you can see there's competition all across the pitch, except really in the centre forward position, where we have Welbeck, Giroud and Akpom. You can see that? Welbeck, Giroud, Akpom. That isn't really the kind of competition that we require at this stage if we want to really challenge for the Premier League title. If we look at the other top 4 teams, Man U had Van Persie last season, Rooney, they had Falcao, and even though they didn't really perform that well, but the competition helped to push them harder and to achieve and score more goals. Chelsea had Diego Costa, Drogba, Remy, You look at Man City, they had Aguero, Dzeko, Jovetic, and then they still bought Bunny. They have 4 top quality strikers there. And that is what I think Arsene Wenger needs to do. He needs to invest in the squad in that certain area. And I think right now the whole squad cohesion is really strong. But I do still believe that one more signing could be the one to catapult us to one of the favourites for the Premier League title. And that is what I believe we need to do this season. We need to push on. We won 2 FA Cups now in succession. The team has got the experience. It's got a nice mix of mature players and hungry young players. And now I think this is the moment, this is the year to really push on and challenge for the Premier League title. I mean, even in the banter eras of 2005 2013 to 2013, between those 8 years where we won no trophies, we still had world-class strikers. We had Henry, we had Van Persie, we had Adebayor, we had all these players who really, even Nicolas Bentner, Eduardo, Bentner played quite well in those few seasons. And even those players, they really scored a lot of goals, they really achieved, they pushed on, they helped each other. And I think, especially in the 2012 season, Van Persie's last season for Arsenal, Van Persie's goals helped us get into the Champions League. If it wasn't for his goal, we would probably be languishing in mid-table. And a lot of times, on these goals have been saving us in those years. Adebayor's coming with a lot of good goals. I'm just seeing that in those years really lacked the players behind the strikers, you know what I mean? But now we've got those players behind the strikers. We've got the nice defensive stability. We haven't got the Scolaccis and the Senjoses and these dodgy players. We've got good defenders. We've got a nice base in midfield. We've got top-notch world-class goalkeepers, not Almunia or Fabianski. But now we need to step up and buy a new striker. So personally, I'll go all out for Benzema. But if we do not get Benzema, I don't really see Man City selling Dzeko, but I'll go out for him. And that's really it for today. I don't really know who else is out there right now because we've been leaving this late. It's near the end of July now. The season's only like 2 weeks and a bit away. But it'll be interesting to see what Arsene Wenger does. You know, Arsene does a bit of a madness here and there. And hopefully we will see a new, fresh, world-class striker coming in by the end of the transfer window. That's me for today. I'll see you guys on Saturday hopefully, or Friday depending on when I make the video regarding the preview of the Emirates Cup. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to Lord Bettner coming back to the Emirates. And take care.